Evidence that will show you clearly that these co-conspirators hatched this murderous plot not minutes, not hours, but days before this.
No evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews did anything to help that group of men kill Charles Jones.
The long-awaited Julio Foolio murder trial has finally kicked off, and it's already heating up. The 5 people accused of taking his life, often called the 5 cockroaches online, are under serious pressure. But here's the twist. Out of all 5 suspects, only 1 is currently facing the jury right now, and she's the only woman in the lineup. That woman is Alicia Andrews, and her defense, it's unlike anything the others are saying. While the rest of the group is crying innocence, saying things like "we ain't do it" or blaming the system for trying to keep them down, Alicia's story takes a whole different route. She's not denying she was there when Foolio got killed. She straight up admits it. But her claim is that she had no clue what was really going down. According to her, she was just a bystander on a weekend trip with her boyfriend. No setup, no plan, just bad timing and worse company. That boyfriend was Isaiah Chance, another name tied to the case, a local rapper who was hustling his way into the Florida music scene. People around the area say he ran in some familiar circles, even rumored to have loose ties to Young N and AM, but the prosecutors are painting a whole other picture. They say Alicia and Isaiah weren't just caught in the middle. They were watching everything happen. According to the state, Alicia's phone was the key tool that night, used to call the shooters, track Foolio's moves, and feed info in real time. Prosecutors say she and Isaiah were the eyes for the killers, following Foolio, keeping tabs on his posts and letting the others know exactly where to find him. The alleged gunmen, 2 brothers, Davian and his brother, plus Sean Gathright. All 3 reportedly had deep personal beef with Foolio. The reason cuts deep. Foolio had allegedly disrespected their brother's grave and even brought his killer onto interviews and tours, turning pain into publicity. That move pushed emotions past the point of return. And while Isaiah and Alicia didn't pull the trigger, prosecutors say their role was critical. Their job, they claim, was to spot Foolio, trail his every step, and lead the shooters straight to their target, a setup that turned deadly fast.
Charles Jones. You've heard his name in the indictment. That's his face. Just a few seconds of the mountain of evidence that you will see in this case of what happened that night. Evidence that will show you clearly that these co-conspirators hatched this murderous plot not minutes, not hours, but days before this. Formulating in their hearts and minds this agreed upon, collective, and confederated plan with one common agreed upon goal: death, violence, and murder. A conspiracy motivated and hatched days before, hundreds of miles away from Tampa. A conspiracy that would span through those days and over 500 miles of travel.
At first, everyone thought Foolio's death was just a tragic mistake, the kind that happens when fame meets danger. Fans believed he accidentally gave away his own location on social media while celebrating his birthday, and that one careless post ended his life. But when the trial started, prosecutors dropped a bombshell. This wasn't random at all. They revealed something way darker. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment beef or a heat-of-the-night situation. No, this was planned step by step for days. Investigators say they found the proof in Foolio's own post, a flyer for his birthday weekend bash in Tampa, wide open for the world to see. It had the city, the date, everything. Prosecutors believe that's when Isaiah, Alicia, and the rest of the crew locked in on him. They say the group saw that flyer, packed up, hit the road to Tampa, rented an Airbnb, and waited for the right time to move. According to the state, the mission was cold and calculated. Find Foolio, track his every move, and line him up for the shooters. No chance, no coincidence, just precision. But Alicia's version paints a completely different story. She claims she had no idea what was really going on. According to her, Isaiah made it sound like a chill weekend getaway. Nothing more, nothing less. She insists she didn't know her boyfriend had other plans. In her words, she was just along for the ride.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there was no evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews killed Charles Jones. No evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews wanted Charles Jones dead. No evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews did anything to help that group of men kill Charles Jones. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're not just here to deliver a verdict. You are here to right a wrong.
When the trial kicked off, Alicia's defense attorney came out swinging, loud, fiery, and full of emotion. He didn't even bother to stand while delivering his opening statement. He stayed seated but shouted every word like his client's life depended on it. The whole courtroom was locked in. His style was unorthodox, maybe even dramatic, but that was the point. He wanted every eye on Alicia, every ear tuned to her side of the story. He painted her as a woman caught in chaos she never asked for, a young woman swept into a deadly storm built by the people around her. He said she never planned anything, never touched a gun, never fired a shot. According to him, Alicia wasn't some criminal mastermind. She was scared, confused, and in over her head. But prosecutors fired right back, refusing to let that narrative fly. They said she wasn't just around the action, she was part of it. They claimed she knew exactly what was happening that night, fully aware of every move being made and every call being placed. In their eyes, Alicia wasn't innocent, she was involved.
Alicia Andrews was on a weekend trip with her boyfriend with only one agenda: to be with her boyfriend. 2, Alicia Andrews is not in a gang. 3, with the exception of her boyfriend, Alicia Andrews did not know any of those men in that group, and none of those men in that group knew Alicia Andrews. As a matter of fact, if there was some conspiracy, Alicia Andrews was not in the loop because she was not in the group. 4, Alicia Andrews is not a part of the drill rap culture, nor the drill rap scene. 5, Alicia Andrews did not have any physical evidence on any weapon displayed by the state. You would not find DNA, fingerprints, no physical evidence whatsoever linking Alicia Andrews to this case.
The narrator breaks it down like this. In street-related cases, defense lawyers sometimes use what's called the "I did it, but not like that" approach. Basically, they admit to being involved, but they twist the angle, trying to soften the impact and dodge the heaviest charges. It's risky business, a move that can backfire fast if the jury isn't buying it. We've seen this play before. Just look at the Nipsey Hussle case. Eric Holder admitted he pulled the trigger, but claimed it was a crime of passion, not a planned hit. The jury didn't buy that for a second, and it ended badly for him. Same story in other high-profile trials. That halfway confession route rarely works. And Alicia's defense, it's walking that same thin line. She's saying, yeah, the killers did it, and yeah, I was there. But she swears up and down that she had no clue what was really going down. According to her, her boyfriend lied, her co-defendants lied, and she was just an innocent passenger caught up in a deadly setup she never agreed to. But investigators aren't convinced, not one bit. They say her story doesn't match the facts, the phone records, or the timeline they've pieced together. To them, her "I didn't know" defense sounds more like damage control than truth.
He says how many rooms? He says 2. Now, There's some assumption on Mr. or Detective Ramos' side that because Alicia Andrews asked for 2 rooms for this romantic getaway, as he claims it to be, was some indication that she intended for this other group of guys to come to the Airbnb with them. In reality, Miss Andrews and Isaiah Chance were kind of on the outs. Didn't know if they were going to be on the in or the outs. So they got 2 rooms, bigger, more comfortable, some space for this trip that was to be a trip of reckoning and maybe reconciliation. Ultimately, though, Alicia Andrews and the friend or follower does not book the Airbnb. Somebody else does. Alicia Andrews did not know that somebody else books the Airbnb. She was out of the loop. Nonetheless, Airbnb booked on the way to Tampa. Isaiah Chance, and you saw the video, before he picks up Alicia Andrews, stops by Sean Gaithwright's house, where he packs up all of these bags. Alicia Andrews never sees what goes into the Impala. She's not a part of that packing process. Not in the loop. Isaiah Chance goes and then picks up Miss Andrews, brings her back to where they pack the bags, and then they head down to Tampa.
Once the group made it to Tampa, the story started to unravel, and the surveillance footage began talking louder than anyone in the courtroom. At first, Alicia looked calm and carefree. Cameras caught her at a local McDonald's. No mask, no nerves, just chilling with Isaiah, laughing and eating like any other night. But later that same night, things flipped. When they were allegedly tracking Foolio outside the club, the footage showed a whole new scene. Alicia now had a mask covering her face the entire time. To prosecutors, that change said it all. They argued that Alicia knew exactly what was happening, that she masked up because she didn't want Foolio to recognize her. To them, it was clear proof of guilt, not coincidence. But her defense team pushed back hard, claiming there was a simple reason for the mask, nothing criminal at all. They said Alicia was shy around Isaiah's crew, especially Davion, one of the alleged shooters. According to them, she didn't want to be seen, judged, or dragged into any awkward energy between the guys. Prosecutors weren't having it. They called that story fake, saying her mask, her timing, and her actions all pointed to someone who knew exactly what was going down. Then came the phone evidence, maybe the biggest bombshell of all. Records showed that Alicia's phone was used to contact the shooters that same night. The defense claimed Isaiah was the one using it, saying Alicia didn't understand what the conversation was about. But the prosecution doubled down, insisting she wasn't clueless. She was a key part of the plan and knew exactly what those calls meant.
In the interrogation room, Detective Ramos tells Alicia Andrews that she must not be wearing a mask at the clubs to conceal, she must be wearing the masks at the club to conceal her identity because she's not wearing the mask at the McDonald's. But the reality is, Alicia Andrews thought that it was just going to be her and her boyfriend.
The state's argument hits hard. If Alicia was in that car with the killers, even if she never held a gun or pulled a trigger, she's still legally on the hook. Under Florida law, anyone who helps, supports, or plays a role in a planned killing can be charged with murder too. The prosecution's message is clear. Presence, planning, and participation all count. Her defense team, though, is fighting to draw one very fine line. They're saying Alicia wasn't in the same car as the shooters that night. She was simply nearby with her boyfriend, Isaiah. To them, that small detail makes all the difference. They're painting her as guilty by association, not by action. But prosecutors say that story doesn't hold up against the evidence, the mask, the phone calls, the tracking, the late night movements. It all paints a picture that's hard to ignore. And now, Alicia's facing an uphill climb trying to convince a jury that she was just an innocent girlfriend on a weekend trip, not a lookout in a deadly setup. At this point, everything rests in the jury's hands. Will they believe Alicia's version of events, that she was just along for the ride? Or will they side with the mountain of evidence pointing toward her knowing way more than she claims? Because one thing's clear, being that close to a murder and saying you didn't know what was happening, that's a tough story to sell.
No reason to wear the health mask, the medical mask. Then, she didn't know that Davion Murphy was going to bum rush the ride and take control of the driver's seat, let alone did she expect Isaiah Chance to let him do so. So she's caught without her mask unexpectedly. Davion's in the video, you see him smoking and puffing, and Alicia wants to say something, but she can't. Because she's afraid to say something to this guy who just bogarted the cruise, made her man get in the back seat, and took over. She won't say anything. Not because she was trying to hide herself. She didn't say anything because she was scared. Not because she wanted the guy to smoke in her face, because she was scared. They get back to the Airbnb, and a few hours later, they head out again. Go to Club Teasers. Now they're in the cruise again, and Isaiah Chance is driving. Now the state asserts that because Isaiah Chance is driving and Alicia Andrews is right next to him while Isaiah Chance is on her phone, Alicia must have heard everything Isaiah said. They got that from Juan Ramos. But that's a bad assumption. Because there's...
Objection to that comment, Your Honor. Is it proper?
Anyway, again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this are just the opening statements. The attorneys are telling you what they believe the evidence will be. That's all that it is, their belief. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a bad assumption. Because there's no way of knowing. Although the cell phone data shows that that line was open and there was communication between the two phones, there's no way of knowing whether Isaiah Chance was the talker or the listener. And even if Isaiah Chance was the talker, there's no way to know whether he was using explicit language that Alicia Andrews could understand. So, when in the interrogation room, Detective Ramos asks Alicia Andrews what Isaiah Chance was saying, and she says, "I don't know." It was the truth. She didn't know. And there is no evidence whatsoever to the contrary.
As the trial rolls on, the streets are locked in. Everyone's watching, everyone's talking. Some people say Alicia's just playing the victim, doing whatever it takes to save herself from a life-changing sentence. Others believe she might have really been caught up in something she never saw coming. A young woman in way over her head. Now her future sits in the hands of 12 strangers. A jury that's already heard too many stories just like this one. The tension's thick, the courtroom's packed, and every word that drops could change everything. So what do you think? Did Alicia know exactly what she was a part of? Or did she just hop in the wrong ride at the wrong time? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, share this video with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe. It helps more than you know. Appreciate you for watching, and as always, see you on the next one.